Hey everybody, TBC here. It's been a little while, but I've been quite busy playing on the new Fangbreaker server, EverQuest's newest time lock progression server, which launched back on May 28th. So if you're a geeky veteran or a curious newbie, lock in, because I'm going to take you through some of the highs, the lows, and the odd moments of my time on this server. Spoiler alert, it's been a wild ride, and even though Fangbreaker has a smaller community, I'm having a blast. So let's dive on in. So let's start with the good stuff, because I actually do think there's plenty to love about Fangbreaker. This server kicked off with a fairly bold move and expanded start rule set. So unlike the previous time lock progression servers that began typically with just classic EverQuest or Teak with Kunark, Fangbreaker launched with Kunark, Velius and Shadows of Lucklin unlocked right at the gate. But we were level locked to level 50 for the first 8 weeks. For someone like me, I think having a different kind of start where you can play as an Ixar or a Vashia or a Beast Lord right from the get-go, I really love the vibes of that, and people being able to play like Beast Lord straight away I think is a really good change, and one that I think a lot of people have enjoyed. Another huge highlight, and one that I really enjoyed, is the resource hunter mechanic. Everyday random zone bonuses, so think extra XP, loot drops, faction, skill, you name it. It's like the game's kind of nudging you to explore places that you'd normally skip. I mean, how many of you have previously leveled up in Hollow Shade Moor, for example? One day I found myself grouping in South Karana, hunting the Aviacs and Centaurs, because it was the hot zone for XP that day. On other TLPs, you wouldn't touch South Karana for XP. The grind there would 100% suck compared to the tried and true methods, but on Fangbreaker, it was actually popping and there was multiple picks. So I think the Resource Hunter actually really makes you rethink your usual grind spots, and it has been honestly refreshing. Another win certainly is the leveling speed. Because of those hot zone bonuses and stackable XP through the legacy system, I hit level 50 on day 2. It was super quick, and I wasn't power leveling or anything, just kind of vibing, playing with my static group, and it was a lot of fun. We went to a lot of different zones we wouldn't normally have chosen to go to. Like I said earlier, Hollow Shade Moor, I actually got level 50 I think in Maiden's Eye, and on my second character, my Shadow Knight, I got it in Grimling Forest of all places, which was surprisingly chill. The sense of kind of adventure and exploring has really come to the forefront of the gameplay of this server, and going to different zones. It's not just Chardok, it's not just Seblis, it's not just Velk's Labyrinth. We're getting out there and we're exploring and going to new and different camps. Really enjoyed it. And while the community is 100% smaller than previous TLPs, definitely smaller than Teak, I do think it is kind of like a cozy, almost tight-knit kind of feel. The guild that I joined, level capped, been having a lot of fun with them, and having that kind of restriction at level 50 has really changed up what we're raiding. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh, you're just going to be stuck doing the classic raids, and that's really not true. We've been able to take on some of the Lucklin targets, we've been able to take on some of the Velius targets, and even popping our heads into TOV. And we even killed Trachanon inside a DZ, so with a max of 72 characters, and that went really well. And being at level 50, Trachanon is no pushover. So yeah, a lot of good fun even on those raids and doing different things. Really enjoyed it. Now let's talk about some of the things which are particularly not perfect with Fangbreaker. The biggest gripe, as I mentioned, the population is lower than on previous TLPs like Teak or Oakwind. If you hop on during prime time, you may even struggle to find a group these days. Instead that, there are people leveling up, alts and whatnot, so you can happen, and my suggestion is Don't just stay LFG for hours on end. Make your own group, make it happen, get out to those hot zones. And while some folks all over on YouTube, on Reddit, Fires of Heaven, whatever, have said this server's dead on arrival, it's dead, tons of videos saying that, and I don't agree with that, but I do get where they're coming from. The level cap and the unlock schedule have also been fairly divisive. Being stuck at level 50 for 8 weeks in Lucklin, with no access to kind of the AAs or the high level spells, has felt like a slog, and certainly for some classes. And I'm maining a warrior, and honestly I'm barely playing it outside of raids, because when I'm grouping or with friends or whatnot, I'm playing a Shadow Knight because I don't have access to the skills on my warrior that I kind of need to be successful, such as defensive and the other aggro generating abilities. Don't get me wrong, I love playing warrior, but without some of those class defining abilities, you kind of feel like you're punching the air sometimes. Certainly, you know, other classes like Beast Lords that are really spell heavy classes kind of feel half-baked without some of their 50+ abilities. And the slow unlock schedule, you know, we're not going to get a new expansion like another 6 months on this server. You know, in Planes of Power, I think it's February, and who knows by then, you know, will the server have lost steam by then? I mean, for sure. And I get the logic, they want to keep the slower unlock to keep the population healthier for longer, because they know that when Planes of Power hits or Gates of Discord hits, a lot of people drop out by that. But when you're max level, you know, within 2 days and staring at months of the same cap, you feel like you're treading water a lot. And of course, the worst thing about this server, I would say, is the power levelers. There's a lot of them, and it's constant spam and it's zone disruption, and Daybreak do nothing about it. Indeed, this week they did a ban wave and they banned hundreds and hundreds of players. None of the power levelers, none of the people doing zone disruption. They're banning what I would say is in error, or maybe small time cheaters, not necessarily those kind of almost corporations that are running power levels that spam the zones every single day with new characters that take over the deep, that take over Velks, you know, you name it. You know, those are the ones that they should be targeting, and they don't. And I don't know why. Now, a lot of the bans that they've done this week, they are rescinding. Hopefully that continues, and to be honest, I think they should have rescinded the whole ban wave that they did. I think there's obvious that there was errors with it, and rethink some of the strategies and, you know, targets that they're going for with these bans, and certainly starting with the head of the snake on some of these big PLers, the big cheaters, the big people that want to drive profit from the server by selling chronos for real money. Those are the ones they should be targeting, and they don't. So yeah, when you hang around on Fangbreaker, it can almost be a bit embarrassing streaming it and just having the chat channels just walls of text of PL for sale, and you can report them and you can ignore them. They just spin up new characters every couple of hours. There's not a lot you can do about it. I ended up just leaving the chat channels. That's the only answer, which, you know, then, you know, you're not going to see auction, you're not going to see general if anyone has questions. You're losing that social connection. And now for the weird stuff, because Fangbreaker does have some quirks. The restricted true box rule, where you can only run 2 accounts on separate computers, is an interesting combination. And I get that it's kind of meant to curb the massive boxing crews, but the enforcement feels like a myth. You see players in hot zones with 6 toons trailing behind them, 18 characters. You see the crew that are permanently out of 3D, that do not move, that have been logged in for 3 weeks. And you think, are you really using 6 computers for that? Are you really staying up 24/7 farming a 3D? No. You know, it's not a deal breaker. If I see a crew like that, I'd stay well away. It doesn't really impact me too much. But the rules get bent very, very openly in that regard. And, you know, on the flip side, you know, I do see a lot of people who are proudly 2-boxing and seeing what they can do as a 2-box, where they're trying to take down, you know, ancient Cyclops as a 2-box or whatnot and having a really good time with it, and respect to them. And something else that is weird is the resource hunter bonuses can also be very, very strange. Some of the hot zone bonuses really don't make sense. You know, you get faction in Greek's End. It does nothing for you. Very, very huge waste. Or you'll have a hot zone level up for an obscure corner of Velius that you'd never touch. Like increased loot in the Great Divide, which really isn't going to do all that much for you. A few extra giant worm skins. There are some which create division in the community, such as when Wrath Mountains gets platinum coin bonus, because all of a sudden every box crew in the world ever is there automated targeting the hill giants. You name it, it goes on. So despite some rough patches, I'm having a genuinely good time on Fangbreaker. A smaller community, while it can be a downside of grouping sometimes, it really does make the server feel a bit more like a hidden gem. And when you do find that group, it's magic. You get to explore and go to zones such as Dawnshire Peaks that you never go to before, clearing mushrooms and chatting with your group members, and seeing loot you've probably never seen before as well. It's kind of can pull in that sense of wonder almost again. And the expanded start keeps things fresh. Having Kunark, Velius and Lucklin means I can hop between Stebelis, Velks, Greek's End without feeling like I'm stuck in Lower Guk forever. That resource hunter mechanic really forces you to explore, and I've discovered parts of zones I've never touched in 25 years of playing EverQuests. I've never XP'd so much in Maiden's Eye. I've never been to that northern part of, I think, Hollishin Moor before. It's really, really good fun, and the XP bonuses make it really easy to roll alts or Selma. I've got multiple level 50s on this server now, and it's kind of helping from keeping things from getting stale. And the guild I joined, has been a really good bunch, and while not hardcore, not chill either, kind of that in between of dadcore, as we like to call it. EverQuest, the guild is called Level Captain. If you're on the Pacific Coast and you're interested, be sure to look them up. Also, if you are new to EverQuest, there is someone who started a guild that's going to be really, really good for those kind of newbies who maybe haven't played in 25 years, who want to keep it casual. That's the Wyvern Slayer. Definitely look them up as well if you're maybe jumping into EverQuest for the first time, or for the first time in 20 odd years, and you want to keep it really casual and kind of close net in with a group. They'll be perfect for you. Now, is Fangbreaker perfect? Nah. That low pop and the long unlock schedule might scare some people off, and I do worry in the future, once Planes of Power finally drops, it kind of loses its unique selling point anymore, because it becomes a worse version of Oakwyn pretty much. But right now, it's really a good mix of kind of that nostalgia and new twists. It's EverQuest, warts and all, janky, beautiful, and I'm having a lot of fun adventuring, going to zones I've never do. And I'm having a lot of fun loading up the Fangbreaker.zone website in the morning when I get home and seeing what zones have the bonus and where I might like to go and hunt. It has been a lot of fun to kind of see where this server takes me. So if you think about jumping in, make sure to look up that Fangbreaker.zone for daily hot zones. You do need a sub if you come join us, and you know what, if you want to stay on Teak or P99 or wherever you are, it's not that server, but it does have heart. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, leave your comments below. Are you still playing on Fangbreaker? Are you taking a break now you've been level 50 for who knows what and there really isn't much changing for a while? Or are you still happily ploughing through Teak? One thing I've noticed, a lot of people going back to Oakwind as well. Is that you? Leave your comments down below. Otherwise, I'm the Brick Canuck, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.